Live from the studios of Radio Shalom, 1650 AM in Montreal, Canada, the city of joie de vivre, the world capital of culinary variety, and the home of the Montreal Canadiens. This is the Money and Business Show with your host, Samuel Ezerzer. Every week, Samuel and his guests discuss money, investments, financial services, and the world economy. Over the next hour, you can have your questions about business and personal finances answered. So call 514-738-4100 extension 200 to speak with Samuel and his guests. And now, here is the host of the Money and Business Show, Samuel Ezerzer.
Money and business. About 10 years ago, to suggest mental health was a critical issue for Canadian businesses would have seemed ludicrous. But that thought is quickly catching on, as Ottawa announced earlier this month of a national standard to help businesses put in place policies that improve employees' psychological health. The government, Ottawa, finally admitted that there are far too many Canadians with mental illness for the business community to ignore them. The standard came in response to the findings of federal studies showing there are as many as 800,000 well-educated workers in Canada who suffer from mental disabilities, but who are perfectly capable of working if offered the right conditions in which to do so. A staggering number considering the labor shortages faced by many of the nation's critical industries. Mental health problems affect businesses and their bottom line in many ways. Also, on the show, we will discuss ways to save the government billions of dollars as we can find a solution as to not incarcerate nonviolent youth in North America. Approximately about 100,000 young people in North America are held in prison at a cost of about $250 a day and more. With provinces and states facing serious budgetary constraint, it is an opportune time for policymakers to consider ways to reduce juvenile justice spending that won't compromise public safety. Evidence is growing that there are cost-effective policies and programs for intervening in the lives of delinquent youth, which actually improves community safety and outcomes for the children. While there is no silver bullet that will guarantee reduction in crime, policies that include prevention and intervention for youth in the community have been shown to have a positive public safety benefit. Today, live from our studios of Radio Shalom CJRS 1650 AM in Montreal and also in Toronto, we'll be speaking about the economic cost of mental illness in Canada. We will also be discussing the direct healthcare cost of mental illness as well as the indirect cost and the importance of addressing this important issue affecting 1 in 5 North Americans. And as well, we will be discussing how our money can be better spent on rehabilitative therapeutics interventions in dealing with the youth delinquency and addiction as opposed to current punitive measures we have in place now that do not, I do not work. My name is Samuel Ezerzer, here for the Money and Business Show on Radio Shalom CJRS 1650 AM. Thank you for tuning in live on the Money Business Show with our business studios headquarters in Montreal, the financial capital, and the home of the greatest hockey team, the Montreal Canadiens. We have another great show for you today. And as always, you can call if you can have any questions, comments, or criticism on today's topic. Please call us directly on this topic today, 514-738-4100 extension 200, or email me at themoneyandbusinessshow@gmail.com. If you have any inquiries, you can also visit our website. You can listen live also at the 3ws.radio-shalom.ca. All our shows are archived there. Today's topic is mental illness affecting Canada's economic potential and their bottom line. And are there cost-effective ways for governments to reduce ways for incarcerating our youth? Well, today we have a great show today. And also, I want to wish everyone a Hag Atzmaut Day, which is Israel Independence Day. And yesterday yesterday we were at the square in Montreal downtown. I had a great time. It was great to see so many flags and Canadian flags, Israeli flags, and everybody was there. It was like 10,000 people there. And I was so happy to see. But also, I was walking by. I said, you know what, it's raining. So at the end, I saw Harper. He was, he spoke in a beautiful screen, and it was great. I thought that was one of the greatest moments there when we had the Prime Minister of Canada talking on the screen and wishing Israel a happy holiday, a happy birthday. And right after that, I was actually walking by, and not only that, but I saw all these rabbis, they're always with flags, and God knows they were screaming anti-Israel, anti-Zionist. So I had a chance maybe to talk to one of them, and I had a chance to talk to one of the rabbis that actually met the Iranian president, Ahmadinejad, when he went to Iran, I think around 2007. So I asked him some questions. But if you want the full video, you got to go to the Samuel Ezerzer YouTube. You can take a look at it there, and you have the whole interview. Well, today I have Vivian Backman is a professional in the field of mental health. She has a master's degree in psychology as well as in social work. She has been working in the psychotherapy and mental health services for the last 30 years. Currently, she is the supervisor of a multidisciplinary mental health team in the health and social services system in Montreal. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And also we have Lisa Lalouse in Toronto, but we're going to go to her a little bit later on the show. By the way, were you at Phillips Square?
No, I wasn't able to make it this year.
No, it was great. I tell you, to see so many Israeli flags and Canadian flags, Quebec flags. It was really beautiful to see. But let's go right into business over here. Clara Hughes is an athlete for all seasons, Vivian. She's one of the biggest stories to emerge in Canada sports. She's not finished yet. She has a lot of years ahead of her. A 6-time Olympic medalist in the cycling and speed skating. She is the only athlete in history to actually win multiple medals in both summer and winter games. She is the national spokesperson for the Bell Let's Talk Mental Health Initiative that we're going to be listening throughout the show. We're going to be putting some of the commercials, including the Bell's Let's Talk Day, by sharing past struggles with depression. This is what the Bell Let's Talk Day is. It's all about depression. Clara has helped break down the stigma associated with mental illness. Let's just hear a clip on that.
Hi, you may know me as a 6-time medalist in both the Summer and Winter Olympics. What you might not know about me is that for 2 difficult years I battled depression. 1 in 5 Canadians is affected by mental illness, and many will not get the help they need because they're afraid to talk about it, and this has to change. So on February 8th, let's talk.
Vivian, we just heard a Bell Canada commercial with Clara Hughes, help break down the stigma associated with mental illness. What is the prevalence of mental illness in Canada, or I should say even in North America?
Yes, I think the prevalence would be the same across North America. Most Canadians are affected by mental illness either directly or indirectly through family, friends, or colleagues. 20% of Canadians will personally experience a mental illness during their lifetime. These figures are drawn from numbers of diagnosed mental illness, and they often don't even take into account people who go undiagnosed and have mental illness. Mental illness has a serious impact on a person's ability to function over long periods of time. In particular, we have chronic illnesses such as schizophrenia or bipolar disease and severe depression that are lifetime illnesses and that require management and care-based services in hospital and health care professionals.
Why would Bell Canada do this now? Do they realize now that mental illness is part of the workplace? Is that it?
I think
you know a little bit more about that, don't you?
Sure. I think that what is being recognized is that, as I said, 20% of us suffer from mental illness directly or indirectly. If a family member or a friend has mental illness, you're affected by it, and therefore it is not relegated to some distinct population.
Like dementia.
Like dementia, which is also on the rise. But dementia is not a mental illness. It's a neurological disorder, and it's associated with aging. So it's a little bit different, and you can see the difference because the highest rate of diagnosis for mental illness starts from 15 years old till 30. So chronic mental illness is diagnosed young, and it's a lifetime illness, hence the word chronic. And we're facing a lot of care needs and management as a result.
So what are some of the factors used to study the economic burden of mental illness in Canada?
Well, years ago we would only study how much it costs to use health care services directly linked to mental illness, medical care services, hospital care services, and we realized that's not the whole cost. That was only part of the picture of what's going on in the economic burden of mental illness. Today, we examine medical resources, but we also look at health-related quality of life, work loss reductions. They're all tied together. People who suffer from mental illness have a poor quality of life, and these factors have to be studied. It's also, as I said, in the prevalence, important to study diagnosed and the undiagnosed mental health problems that we have a lot of due to stigma. For various reasons, we have undiagnosed because people don't come forward. So we use, the measures we use are to look at the direct costs, how much we use in real care, health care, but to look at lost wages, lost hours of work, and lower economic output. Okay, and also factors such as poverty, housing issues, morbidity rates. These are all related to mental health. So
what are some of the direct economic costs? Let's talk about the cost related to mental services in Canada.
Yeah, so direct services are health care, which includes health professions, community-based services, and hospitals. If you look at what Health Canada has studied, the cost of mental illness was estimated to be about $7 billion in direct health care costs. But more than that, mental illness and physical illnesses are intertwined because it's known that mental illness and mental health factors increase your risk of developing other chronic illnesses such as diabetes, heart disease, immune deficiency problems. I mean, just diabetes alone is an epidemic and related to schizophrenia very much, both genetically and in terms of the kinds of medications that we give. So that doubles the amount of dollars that we're spending related to mental health. Okay.
Good. Just wait. I know you have a lot more to say. We're just going to go to a commercial right now. I have here Vivian Backman is a professional in the field of mental health. She has a master's degree in psychology as well as in social work. Again, my name is Samuel Ezerzer for the Money and Business Show, Radio Shalom, CJRS 1650 AM Montreal. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
Hi, you've reached the voicemail of Lori Freeman. I will be out of the office all day. For emergencies, please contact Diane at extension 342. Thank you, and have a nice day.
If you are satisfied with your message, press 1.